Fourth objective seemed to be to do rent seeking, take maximum political capital, blabber, ridicule the armed forces, take credit. Politicians who do not know the ABC of warfare, take all the credit. I named it as Sindoor. Now I have strong objection to the word Sindoor. Sindoor is not a military operation. It's a sentimental thing. After that, Prime Minister has no business to talk about these kind of things. I did this. What did you do? And I saw this BrahMos, and he going around in a military Air Force uniform. I mean, that's a crime. Wearing military uniform, which you are not in the military, you're committing a crime, I say. I mean, you can't ridicule the armed forces. I don't know how our armed forces people, because Army Act is so stringent, they can't even talk. You can't keep on taking everything, and you can't say, I sent BrahMos. Who asked you to tell them they sent the BrahMos? It's a discretion of the military personnel to use whichever weapon they want. Now, this is ridiculous. The same thing they did with Pulwama also.
Absolutely.
How can they humiliate armed forces? How will they humiliate an institution?
Right.
See,
All right.
The whole objective seems to be to manipulate the election results. Eventually. Create a narrative. As if everyone thinks that Modi is the one who has finished up Pakistan. Pakistan fellows are still sitting there. They are laughing.
Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one-stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought-provoking conversations. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been in Gujarat for the last 2 days, politically marketing Operation Sindoor. In fact, he was welcomed in the state with huge cutouts of BrahMos missile, posters of Operation Sindoor, Colonel Sophia Qureshi's family showering petals on him. But amidst all this, there are several questions which remain unanswered. Why did Prime Minister Modi choose to go to Gujarat and not to Poonch and Rajouri, where several people are waiting as to who is going to put balm on their wounds? They've lost their families, they've lost their homes, but Prime Minister did not choose to go there. We still do not have answers as to who ordered the ceasefire and why the ceasefire was announced by Donald Trump. Another question: why did Foreign Minister informed Pakistan that there will be military strikes, not on the military installations, but only on the terror camps? So all these are some brazen questions. And of course, a Pahalgam terror attack has not been avenged because those terrorists are still freely looming large. We do not know whether they have been killed or not. At least so far, till date, we do not have any information that the terrorists have been killed. So what is this celebration all about in the name of Operation Sindoor? What we are getting to know is that Prime Minister is traveling next week to Uttar Pradesh and Bihar with similar kinds of rallies around Operation Sindoor. So is this political marketing of Operation Sindoor fair and just on the part of the Prime Minister when a multi-party delegation is traveling internationally with a brief to defend India? And here you have Prime Minister Modi, who's politically marketing the Operation Sindoor and taking political credit out of it. Joining me this evening is retired bureaucrat M.G. Devasahayam, who's also part of the Constitutional Conduct Group, and he's written various articles on various websites. Thank you, sir, so much for joining. And I really wanted to understand your perspective on Operation Sindoor. Now, there are some very serious questions. And this political marketing of Operation Sindoor, how would you really see that? Because what is being said is that we are celebrating the valor of the armed forces.
My joining this discussion is not because I was a bureaucrat, I was in the IAS, I was in the army. before joining the IAS, I was in the Indian Army. I fought the 1965 war, and after that, I fought the counterinsurgency operations in Nagaland. So I have a certain idea as to what the culture and ethos of army is. That is my basic qualification for joining this discussion, not the bureaucracy or the IAS. See, here you just mentioned briefly what Mr. Modi has been doing. There are far more serious issues. Basically, my response would be there is a concept called management by objective. It's a very old concept. I forgot the name, the management guru. So management objective is there has to be a clear objective in doing certain things. For instance, a military operation of the nature of that just concluded, Operation Sindoor, must have a certain objective. Now, what is the objective? They say it was to root out terrorism from Pakistan. Pakistan is indulging in terrorism, killing our people. No. If that was the objective, the operation would have been totally different. And the fallout also would have been totally different. What is the second objective? Was it to avenge the terrorists who killed 26 innocent tourists in Pahalgam? No, they have not been avenged. The very fact that they were allowed to come in, 5, 6 armed so-called terrorists, they were allowed to come in about 200 kilometers inside Indian territory, in the most guarded part of India. More than 500,000 military, paramilitary, police forces are there in the Kashmir Valley. These fellows came as if they were on a holiday, half an hour shooting everybody left, right, and center. No response, no security. They go back and they have not been faced so far. Was that the objective? No. Third, was that the objective to root out terrorism from the soil of India and Pakistan? I don't think so, because they have not really pinpointed who were these terrorists, from where they came, who are these fellows. They say they went and killed people. They had this precision.
Out at 9 terror camps.
I am not going into the merits of the operation, which I would not like to do. Yes, I take as it is. I have listened extensively to the briefing, particularly the briefing given by the 3 Director General's military operation, Army, Navy, and Air Force. I have some idea. They have done something. They have sort of demolished certain targets. But what is the guarantee that they were terrorists? Because the operation was undertaken 15 days after the Pahalgam killings, with lot of noise, unimaginable consequences. Do you think they were waiting there to get killed? Some people might have been sleeping there, got killed in the bombing. They say 26 people. Rajnath Singh says 100. I don't know who to believe. But the question is, even if they are killed, how do they know they are terrorists? So, third objective also doesn't seem to be. Fourth objective seems to be to do rent seeking, take maximum political capital, blabber, ridicule the armed forces, take credit. Politicians who do not know the ABC of warfare, take all the credit. I named it as Sindoor. Now, I have strong objection to the word Sindoor. Sindoor is not a military operation. It's a sentimental thing. Very sanctity. There is a lot of sanctity involved in this. See, I am a Christian. Here, marriage is a very solemn, sacred sacrament, and in the symbol of that marriage is very sacred. You can't just use it, misuse it for your own purposes. Using it Sindoor. There are 1,000 other names. So you have read my article. I have basic objection using the word Sindoor for a military operation where people get killed. Second, using these two ladies as mascots, then I have strong objections. When you read my article, when the operation starts, till the operation starts, diplomacy is there, foreign secretary is there, you can always do the briefing. I have no problem. When the operation starts, it's a serious matter. The briefing can be done only by the Director General Military Operation. There's a Lieutenant General in the Army. There's an Air Marshal in the Air Force. There's a Vice Admiral in the Navy. They only have to brief because they know the technicalities. Here they bring to, and then brazenly sort of exploit that lady's name because she has a Muslim name. Brazenly. As if she has conquered Pakistan. What kind of rot? India is a large country. They talk about fourth largest economy. They talk about fourth largest, third largest army.
Devasaham, what do you think that this operation has been reduced to? Because Prime Minister's repeated assertions about Sindoor, mere nason mein garam Sindoor behta hai, lahu nahi. Then yesterday also he made a dog whistle. Then today, in fact, today is the first day when I've heard him saying something which is acceptable, because he says that Pakistan turned to a proxy warfare, realizing that they couldn't win a direct war against India. So this is what he said today when he was in Gandhinagar. But if you look at his yesterday's speech and before that, it's almost like an open and a brazen warmongering.
That's why I said, Nilu, the management objectives. His whole objective appears to be to do rent seeking, to make political capital and electoral capital. Because we have interacted on the election matters earlier, our election system is so weaponized. He is creating a narrative to manipulate the elections. Whatever elections will come, because people are not impressed. I know the people of India. They know what army is, what army operation is, and I have served in the martial areas also of Punjab and Haryana. They are not much impressed. They are not taken by the story of Modi and company, that Modi did the war, they know about it. They are not going to vote. But using this narrative, they can manufacture votes. They can manipulate the votes. EVM facilitates that. I am emphasizing that. See, they are all creating, and then the problem is reducing the armed forces into sort of election fodder. It is humiliating the armed forces. You see, under the Article 53 of the Constitution of India, Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces is the President of India. Of course, Cabinet, Council of Ministers advises the President. And before war is declared and all these formalities, it is a Cabinet, it's a Council of Ministers. That's all. Prime Minister role ends. After deliberating, detailed discussions, pros and cons, and finally deciding, yes, we have to take up a military operation, Prime Minister role ends, period. The professionals take over. Chiefs of the three armed forces take over. Their professional team takes over. They achieve the objective, hand over and go back. After that, Prime Minister has no business to talk about these kind of things. I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. What did he do? And I saw this BrahMos, and he going around in military Air Force uniform. I mean, that's a crime. Wearing military uniform, which you are not in the military, you're committing a crime, I say. I mean, you can't ridicule the armed forces. I don't know how our armed forces people, because Army Act is so stringent, they can't even talk. So, Prime Minister must realize.
Armed forces will not be able to talk, but this brazen political marketing of Operation Sindoor, do you think that anybody or any institution can put a stop on this? Because this is so brazen. But the moment you open your mouth and you ask questions, you are labeled as someone who is running Pakistan's agenda, or there is money sent to you by China. This is what is being said.
They are running the Pakistan-China agenda by humiliating and ridiculing our armed forces, weakening their morale, talking all kind of nonsense. One deputy chief minister of Madhya Pradesh says armed forces must prostrate before Modi. What nonsense is this? And one minister in Madhya Pradesh says Colonel Sofia Qureshi is a sister of the terrorists, so I have sent her to take care of Pakistan. I mean, they are working as agents of Pakistan. They are working as agents of China. Let them try and troll me. How dare they do that? They are the anti-nationals. Now claiming that I have done that, I have named it Sindoor and Sindoor and Sindoor. I mean, military operation should have stealth and secrecy. That's a hallmark of military operation. Otherwise, you'll have to pay heavily with the life of our soldiers, airmen, and naval people. You got to keep it as secret as possible, as stealthy as possible. You do the operation, finish up your task, withdraw, and keep your trap shut. You can't keep on taking everything, and you can't say I sent BrahMos. Who asked you to tell them they sent the BrahMos? It's a discretion of the military personnel to use whichever weapon they want. Now this is ridiculous. The same thing they did with Pulwama also.
No, but sir, tell me, do you find any dichotomy in the brief which the multi-party delegations are carrying to the various nations across the world? They are supposed to talk positive. They are not supposed to take any political credit. They are supposed to be speaking the language of India, which they are doing, whether it is Dr. Shashi Tharoor or for that matter, I was hearing and listening to Owaisi's speech. It was so good. And the way they have defended India. But back home, Prime Minister tells his own party men that now you have to keep quiet on Operation Sindoor, but he does all the talking. So what is he trying to gain? So is he trying to take the sole credit of Operation Sindoor, which means is going to be taken by the Prime Minister?
Not only Owaisi, even Shashi Tharoor, I heard Shashi Tharoor's speech. Very sensible. They are doing a sincere job. It's not only the delegations. I have been listening to these three Director General of Military Operations. The way they briefed, very professional, non-escalatory, limited operation. They never use the word war. They never use the word revenge. Blah 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 blah. Now, why is this man talking like this? You see, in fact, they are creating huge damage to India outside. India has become a butt of ridicule, joke. Now, on the one hand, you have sent delegations to 32 countries, headed by parliamentarians and others. They are trying to explain. They are trying to tell that we are trying to root out, terrorism. Pakistan is a terror state. They are promoting terrorism. We are not in for war. I mean, they are telling the diplomatic side of India. But these fellows are bragging. I threw the BrahMos, I threw this. Modi did this, Modi did it. What is this? Does any other country do this? Does any other country do this? I don't think so. I mean, why are they doing? I don't know. Political capital also, well, when operation becomes a success and India becomes a winning country, people would appreciate. You don't have to keep on bragging and telling lies. If there is an operation for the integrity of the country, for the honor of the country, well, certainly people will appreciate. It's not that you have to keep on bragging again and again.
No, but Mr.
Sindoor blood mein hai.
But since Prime Minister is saying that the Operation Sindoor has not ended, so are we going to see a state of the nation where this kind of a warmongering is going to continue endlessly, at least till the Bihar elections?
See, you can't take him seriously at all when he says the Sindoor is not ended. See, the question is, let me come back as an administrator. A particular horrific incident happened near Pahalgam. There is no security. The correct way of dealing with that is that they should have taken stringent action against people, number one, who allowed this to happen. When we, on the taxpayers' money, we have more than 500,000 military, paramilitary, police forces. How did these 4 or 5 fellows allowed to come in at all? Whomsoever allowed the security lapse, they should have been sacked summarily, invoking Article 311 to C, if I remember, summary dismissal without even an inquiry, because there may be national security issues involved. Once I don't know who did it, but my information is that army is not responsible because army comes in only when there is Amarnath Yatra. It was completely under the police, the DGP and the local police. They completely messed it up. I am told 1 or 2 days before that incident, there was a review by the DGP. He reviewed, South Kashmir was reviewed by him. What instruction did they give? Did anybody find out? Did he tell these fellows not to give any protection? And now they say they're putting the blame on the hotel fellows. Hotel fellows secretly sent about 2,000 tourists. How is it possible? You can't even send 2 people. And Amit Shah says he calls himself Home Minister. He says hotel fellows sent 2,000 terrorists secretly. Police people did not know. What absurdity. Without taking action against these brazen security labs, you have no moral right to take any further action. Okay, you have taken military action against Pakistan because terrorist activities have been going on, but you can't go on bragging for ends. Military people must be given some respect. What will happen next time when there is an operation? What will happen next time? How will the armed forces react? See, they keep on talking. We are nobody. I mean, these completely reducing the armed forces to nothing. I, as a citizen, cannot take this at all. I'm sorry. And why? What is it trying to achieve? Elections will come, all right. During the election, you say you talk about your achievements, no problem. See, during election, when there is an election rally, you talk about your achievements. And if people believe that, yes, you have made all these achievements, you have single-handedly finished off Pakistan, well, they will vote for you. Be happy. But why all this?
How does it end now? I mean, there has to be some kind of how is it going to end? I'm just not understanding, because this becomes a continuous process. Right now, for the last 2 days, he's been in Gujarat. Now, Prime Minister Modi is traveling next week to UP. Then he travels to Bihar. And similar kind of rallies, I'm told, are going to be organized everywhere, where he's going to talk about Operation Sindoor, where he'll dog whistle, he'll talk about Pakistan, and then rake up some sentiments against the Muslims also. So if that is going to become a continuous process, how worrisome the situation in the country is.
It is very worrisome. See, not only within the country, they are destroying the credibility of India outside the country also. You see, what kind of country is this? India? What are they talking about? I mean, so the problem is the opposition has completely collapsed. I entirely blame the opposition. They don't know how to behave at all. This particularly Congress party has become a completely crumpled and collapsed. They think that just giving statements in the media, name of some fellows coming in the press, more than enough. How have they taken up people and tell them military operations should not be exploited like this? Military might have certain limitations. See, serving armed forces cannot talk. But what are the veterans doing? They're backed out. You see, I am extremely astonished, Neelu. When a couple of years ago, 2019, when UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath called our Indian Army Modi's Sena, there was so much of uproar. And lot of veterans came together and prepared a memorandum. More than 400 people, generals, admirals, and air marshals, and down the line, they sent a protest letter to the Prime Minister and Yogi Adityanath. Don't humiliate the army like this. This time, when the Deputy Chief Minister asked army people to prostrate before Modi, not a whimper. Not a whimper. Difficulty, a campaign was, I remember 10, 15, 20 people signed. Veterans also is completely collapsed. They've gone into a shell. They're not interested about their honor. They're only talking about war OP, their salary and tanga and perks. I'm sorry. I am also a veteran. Though, of course, became a civilian much earlier. They are only interested in their war OP. They are not interested in their honor. What is written in the IMA? Honor is number one. They are not bothered at all. Anybody can humiliate them and go on. Serving people cannot talk. The Army Act is very strong.
The condition is such, Mr. Devasayam, the condition is such that even
veterans must speak up.
No, yes, the veterans should speak up like you, but I'm talking about many retired armed forces people also. They say that, it's better to refrain rather than get into a controversy. Because
what controversy? If they're not interested in honor, see, if they're not interested in honor, don't get into controversy. You allow these fellows to talk and to say anything. How can they display BrahMos like this? How can they put this fellow in Air Force officer's uniform? How can the Deputy Chief Minister say this? Okay, what protest? What protest as the veterans? Veterans have not said a word. Not even one veteran. What are they afraid of?
True.
What are they afraid of? If there is no honor, what is left? See, I hold the veterans responsible.
So you feel that now the veterans of the armed forces should speak up?
Speak up loud and clear. It is their honor is at stake. Otherwise, people will ridicule them. Right. Tomorrow, see, let me tell you, of all the institutions, armed forces are the most respected even today. Much beyond even the judiciary. But all this respect will go.
Right.
If this kind of things go on,
right,
all this respect of the veterans and armed forces will go away. They must assert themselves. We can back them up if they want to.
All right.
But it's happening. It's the other way around. We are trying to sort of do something, but then they're completely wishing away. No controversy. What controversy?
Absolutely.
How can they humiliate armed forces? How will they humiliate an institution?
Right.
See, the whole objective seems to be to manipulate the election results. Eventually. Create a narrative. As if everyone thinks that Modi is the one who was finished up Pakistan. Pakistan fellows are still sitting there. They are laughing.
No, but just one last question, very quickly and very brief answer I want from you because I'm running short of time. That in this kind of a scenario, do you think, because obviously elections are not around the corner, otherwise we would have expected that ECI might take a call. At this point of time, can Supreme Court take a suo motu cognizance of what is happening? Which institution will come forward to stop the Prime Minister?
I don't think Supreme Court will be interested in these kind of things. They are not interested in their own institution. How will they be interested in the armed forces? I'm sorry to say that.
Right. But that sums it all.
The veterans are the people who have to take this cause.
Okay, so you're saying that it's the veterans who can take up this cause vociferously. I'll have to end it here. Thank you so much, Mr. Devasayam, for joining on HW.
Thank you very much.